Okay, we're back for the second half of Brad's laundry day out in my laundry room here. Let's turn this around. Oops. I'll get better at this sooner or later. Yeah, so I've washed out the items, the laundry items. The water was really nice and hot for the washing phase. It was a pleasant experience. My hands quite enjoyed it. You know, you exercise your hands in hot water. It's kind of therapeutic. The rinse stage, not so much. Just to turn around, you know, I didn't heat up water for the rinsing stage. I just used water right out of the river. That's ice you see. I have to step out onto that ice to get a bucket of water. The water's pretty cold. So the rinse cycle was, yeah, it was okay. It's, you know, you get through it and you dry your hands off and it's all good. Okay, so let's, I've got everything out on the lawn, the clothesline here. You know, again, like this is, you know, there's my outdoor clothes dryer. So, you know, back to living off the grid, as we romantically refer to this as. Now this is going to get a bit bright here, but you know, that's one of your biggest assets. It's the biggest, hugest free energy source in the history of the world. For some reason, we don't use it anymore. It's kind of crazy. You know, here in the Western world, you know, if you did this in your backyard, the neighbor Nazis would be all over you. There's probably ordinances in your neighborhood that prohibit this. And it's kind of nuts when you think about it. I spent a lot of time in Asia, and any old world country will be similar. I mean, this is just what they do. You know, I lived there for 10 years, and for the longest time, this is how I dried my laundry. But, you know, we can't do that here. We have to use machines and electricity that's generated in eco-unfriendly ways. You know, meanwhile, we've got that and it goes to waste. Now, sorry. Now back. Now, one of the disadvantages of the, you know, solar drying system is cloud cover. When I started my operation, there were no clouds, and I was, you know, thinking, okay, it's going to cool off later in the week. I'm thinking today's a pretty good opportunity to do this, and it looked all bright and fine when I started, and now some clouds have come over. It takes very little cloud cover this time of year to vastly diminish the power of the sun. The long and short of that is I don't know how quickly my things are going to dry. Now, when you're just using these, that's, you know, they were my agitator. They're also the wringer. You know, I've got to wring everything out by hand. If we look at the bottom of my top here and the ends of the sleeves, you can see, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you know, as hard as I wring things, you know, there's still an enormous amount of moisture. So, there's only so much you can do by hand. It doesn't take long very often to do that, and you begin to understand how the wringer, or sorry, the old, I can't remember what you call it, but the roller wringers that squeezed all the water out. It's not hard to imagine how those evolved and how somebody figured that out. So anyway, but I don't have that. I just have my hands, and there's a limit to how much you can do with your hands. Socks are easy, a little bit of underwear easy. Bigger items start to get hard. So what you do, you know, you hang it and you let gravity work for you. The water will work its way, drip its way down to the edges, and you just have to go around every now and again and just keep squeezing that out. Even the socks, you get a little more. anyway, you keep doing that every now and again. The sheet's going to be the biggest problem. That's really hard to wring out. Now, this. Now, the other problem with my solar system here, it takes a while from sun up to rise over the trees, and then just after noon, it's going to disappear behind the shoulder of that mountain, and that's it. I don't see it anymore. So I only get 3 hours at best of any kind of sunlight of any strength. So it's just barely above zero. Warmth is a great drying thing as well. We're not going to get much warmth today. So this is going to take a while to dry. So, oops, and I'm bumping up on 6 minutes here already. And I just wanted to use this as an opportunity. When you're living outside in the winter, when things get wet, as I like to say, it's very, very hard to get them unwet. It takes an enormous amount of energy. I've got a little heater, but to dry all this with a tiny little heater in a tiny little van when it's very cold out is very difficult. But the problem is it is absolutely imperative that you keep yourself dry. If I were to slip while getting water and fall in, that has the potential to be a great big problem. So, when we see how long it takes things to get dry, I've got one pair of boots, that's it. I have to keep those dry. This is just, we can romanticize living off the grid, but there are some things that you have to very much take into consideration, prepare for, and just simply avoid, and that's getting wet. One of the reasons I came up, this is a very arid part of BC, Canada. It's why I chose this area to come to, where I normally live right on the coast, the rainforest. It's just wet all the time. And I knew that would be very difficult in winter because you just, like I say, when you get wet under these conditions, it's very hard to get unwet. Okay, that's it for today's show. We'll see you the next time with another part of my living off the grid system, and we'll say goodbye with the sun.